Okay, welcome back to GA Fan TV. My name is Aaron. I hope everyone is keeping wonderfully well. I'm here today with Paul O'Flaherty from What's The Scor. Of course, Paul was part of the Galway team, of course, when they won the All-Ireland, of course, back in 2017. So we're here today, obviously, to discuss the Galway Hurlers and footballers, of course, ahead of the upcoming National Football and Hurling League Championship. I suppose, first of all, Paul, how's things with you? Any crack with yourself?
No, not a bit. No, it was a lovely weekend there in first of many, hopefully for the summer. So yeah, no crack with me now. How's all with you?
Yeah, all good with me now. No, not too bad, not too bad. I seen all the videos down in Salt Hill. It looked like everyone was kind of having a good bit of crack down there anyway over the weekend.
Yeah, no, I wasn't in it myself now, even though a few said they saw me, but no, only messing. I wasn't in there now, but yeah, looks like they're enjoying them. It's hard to blame them at the same time. We've been shut up shop there for a good few months, so yeah, and then they say the chances of getting COVID is one to, I don't know, being outside, like it's very slim. So I don't know, it's hard to know.
Yeah, I suppose the outrage maybe that was there maybe in the past is probably not there today. Obviously, given like kind of all the different facts and figures that have come out like in recent months. Like, how have you kind of found the lockdown yourself? Like, and trying to keep up with training and everything else. Like, how have you found the whole kind of break? I suppose when it first started last year, and obviously, I suppose still going today.
Yeah, well, me being involved now both with the dual club, it was difficult now. Like once the first lockdown came in, we were doing a lot of tempo runs, and everyone was kind of maybe for the first few months was relieved that we don't have to do the manic pre-season training and we might just get into the championship. But I think it's going on a bit too long now. Everyone's kind of mad to go back, so it's tough. Like it's hard to stay motivated there. Managers and trainers, I think that they're kind of running out of ideas as well. Like you can't really force people to go back training hell for leather when you don't really have, like there is a GEA kind of timeline, but anything could happen. Like cases in 1 week and we could be back to another month or so. So it's hard to stay motivated. But as long as like I go to my friend's gym there, he bought one of MC Sport there during the lockdown, so we go there like twice, 3 times a week. So just trying to change it up, all the sessions every now and again. So as long as you're enjoying it and the trainers aren't putting too much pressure and stuff on you, it's not too bad.
Hmm. Yeah, I suppose that's the main thing, really. Like, and I suppose, like, kind of looking at, I suppose, all the kind of changes that kind of came into hurling and Gaelic football, I suppose, around the COVID situation. Like, obviously, you had water breaks introduced. You have no fans as well. Like, and I suppose, teams having to, change out in car parks and everything like that. Like, what have you made of all that yourself? Like, what's that experience been like?
It's been strange. It's definitely been strange. Especially the water break. Like we're playing championship there. I remember Pier Stadium, and I was going forward like, and I'm after making a long run, and you have to jog all the way into the stand to get a drink of water. And by the time I got to the stand, I was out of breath and I had to go back out then because the referee was blowing his whistle, So I think this year a lot of people will have the water break or maybe the water bottle near your position instead of running all the way back into the dugout. But that was definitely strange, and obviously, like checking in every training or every match that you kind of have to sign a form or whatever it is with the COVID. It's strange, but I'd say it looks like the water breaks will probably stay. I'm not sure what the actual official thing is for the national leagues, but I imagine we'll be staying throughout this year. But I hope it doesn't stay long term because I don't think. I think it kind of affects the game because, like, the flow of the game, you're really, even from a spectator, you're watching it and you're 15 minutes in and you're really getting into it. And then there's a break for like it goes longer than a minute. It goes on for like 2 to 2.5 minutes because the manager is instructing and all that kind of stuff. So I think it affects the flow, and especially if you've got good momentum, I think it's a real breaker. So I hope the water break doesn't stay in, and I'm sure the signing and the COVID won't stay in for long. But it's definitely been strange anyway, for sure. I'd say that's the same way with most club people, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I suppose like definitely like I suppose having, I suppose like because one of the main things is obviously whether it's a puck out or a kick out in football. Like obviously you have the other team who set up. They almost have 2 minutes to set up. Like during that water break, it's actually quite unfair in many ways, kind of on the other team as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like as I kind of said, my example there, by the time you get in and the manager's roaring saying we have to change this, we have to change that, he's kind of panicking as well because he's only 1 minute to get his kind of message across. And like lads are, they're huffing and puffing like after 15 minutes. Joe, when it's half time, usually you get 5 to 10 minutes of, all right, lads, we're going to change the way we play. We're going to attack the left or whatever. We're going to switch down the right. But like, and then water breaks, people think like you've got, we're going to change everything. But the manager only has 1 minute to get like a really important message across. And the lads, if they're not kind of, lads are only kind of concentrating on their water and stuff like that. So I'm not sure do they actually communicate much in that minute. So yeah, I hope it doesn't stay for long in the long term.
And I suppose like we'll discuss the Galway Hurlers. Obviously, we'll have a look a little bit at their championship and league last year. Like, how would you reflect ultimately on the championship and league? Obviously beaten in the semi-finals by Limerick. How would you look back on that?
From the hurling point of view, I thought they were actually unlucky. It was 27 points, 26 if I'm correct. The semi-final was. They hit the post twice and they had a lot of missed chances as well, a few wides, and it just kind of felt like their luck was out on the day. But I think they're the second best team to Limerick at the moment in the championship. Like Limerick, they're going for 3 in a row. They'll be all guns blazing again this year. But I think Galway will have a good chance. They've got a lot of young blood coming in there with Fintan Burke, Evan Niall, and Brian Concannon was outstanding there last year. So they've got another kind of conveyor belt kind of coming there in underage. So they're 20 or 20 kind of too. So they're really coming to the fore. And like younger players these days, they're not kind of light. They've been gymming now for 4 or 5 years with minor and under 21. So they're not kind of they're not as they're well conditioned. They're well conditioned more than they were in previous years. So I give Galway a good. I'd expect them to have a good shout this year. I think the upcoming league matches are going to be more shadow boxing than anything else. That's just my prediction because lads haven't played in so long. They're going to try out new positions, maybe new just lads that they haven't seen in a long time, and they've only been training for 3 weeks as well. So, like collectively, I know they've been training individually, but that's a whole different kind of training session. So it'll be interesting to see. And the footballers, I wouldn't know as much about the football, but they had a great kind of league last year up till the first lockdown, and then they kind of lost a bit of their way, but they still have the kind of players and the panel there. It's just about kind of juggling the right kind of team and what suits them to get the best potential out of them. So it'll be interesting to see.
And I suppose like when you're discussing the Galway Hurlers there in that game against Limerick, like I suppose you had Evan Nyland who came off the bench obviously when Joe Canning went off injured. Looks very, very impressive indeed. Like, is that what you kind of expect to see maybe in the league campaign? Because obviously you got Westmeath in there. Most likely they're probably going to, with all due respect, most likely they're probably going to finish bottom. So would you reckon, that it'll be kind of testing out a lot of the younger lads, bringing through a lot of the younger players for this league campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. I think now I don't have the list in front of me now, and a good few names have slipped my mind. But like I know TJ Brennan was fullback for the under 20s there last year. Conor Walsh was wing forward. I think all of them are brought in. And like John, with every panel now, like you've got 35 lads, but there's another kind of 30 lads that are in kind of a development squad, as they're called. So like they're all kind of training, doing the same fitness regimes. So I definitely think for this league they will be trying out a lot of younger guys. And even going back to that match against Limerick, like Cathal Mannion came off after I think it was 15-20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, but like he is a core part to that Galway team in the middle, like, because he's an unbelievable strike and he tracks a lot of ground as well. So I think if Galway do get all their players right for the upcoming year, and if they can mix a few of the younger lads, I think Fintan Burke again, like Shane Cooney came in there last year as well, did really well. So, and there's a few more other lads there that are in the background as well. So they'll be pushing hard this year.
Yeah, I suppose definitely a lot of talent in the panel. All right, like, and obviously a lot of the players very well, having obviously been a part of that 2017 All Ireland win. Like, I suppose, what was that whole experience like coming into the team, being part of that All Ireland final on the day, beating Waterford? I know you weren't in the team as much as maybe you would have liked, but certainly you were in the panel. So what was that experience like?
Yeah, the experience just was it was unreal. Like, I came in late enough. I think it was around January or February of that year. So it was almost like I was there in 2015 as well when we got to the All Ireland. But we won the league, and you kind of, there was a good building there from that league victory. There was a good confidence. People were free flowing. The trainings were, of the highest standards, and Micheál Donoghue and the coaching staff there, Lucas, they deserve massive credit because they got the whole team, and like number 35 was challenging number 3 or number 6 as equally as anyone else. So and I said on a good few podcasts, like the A versus B matches that we used to have in Pearse Stadium or Kenny Park on a Saturday or Sunday morning used to be ferocious. Like there was no one held back, like, so, and that's what got us over the line, I think, in the finish. So it was an unreal experience. I still talk to a lot of them outside, even though I'm not involved. Like, but you'll always have that kind of team and bond there with them lads. So yeah, it was unreal.
And I suppose obviously playing alongside the likes of Joe Canning, Daithí Burke, David Burke in there as well, like so much talent all across the pitch. What's that like?
Yeah, there was some serious characters in that team. Like you got Joe Canning there; he's been there for years. David Burke, he was a very excellent captain. Like, he really drove the standard. And like there was other lads like John Hansbury there. Like every training session, really driving on the full back line. Didn't matter who came in. Was it Conor Whelan, Brian Concannon, Conor Cooney? Didn't matter who they were marking. It was just it was all hell for leather. So there was a lot of big personnel in there, and like Pádraig Mannion was another one as well, and he's deservedly captain of the team this year, and last year. So there was a lot of big personnel. It wasn't just like the managers and the trainers can do. They had a very, very high standard, but the players really drove it as well. And the two goalkeepers, James Gale and Colm Callan, they drove each other on, and they drove the whole panel as well. So it was a real collective effort. And it was great. Kind of, it's good to see them training in the thick of it, and it was a very good high standard.
And I suppose, like, it was the first time, obviously, Galway won an All Ireland in 29 years, like ending that long famine. What was the atmosphere like back in Galway when you came back to the town? I'd imagine, certainly plenty of sore heads anyway for a couple of days and weeks, anyways.
Yeah, it was good times. Now I can't say I remember it very much, but it was. We, after the match, we went into the Crow Park Hotel, I think, and then we went down into stayed in that place. Oh geez, City West. Yeah, City West, and we had a great all night there. And then, coming back in over the River Shannon there, past Athlone into Ballinasloe, like there was flags. Atmosphere was unbelievable in Ballinasloe. Then into Pearse Stadium, then where there was a massive, massive crowd. Like, it took us ages to get in. Like, lads, were needed to go to the loo, like, and stuff. Like they were bursting to go. Like, so, it was, and there was a good few days and weeks after, really, because we nearly met up a good few weeks after. So like, as I said kind of earlier, it's the bond, it's the memories that you'll remember. And the hurling is only a side thing. It's the memories and the crack and the the friendships and everything that you get. That's what you cherish. So Galway was unbelievable, and hopefully it can return. Maybe, well, I don't know if we won the All Ireland. I don't know, are we allowed to meet out in that kind of a bunch or that kind of a gathering? But hopefully they'll go fair and they'll do the job again, and be great to see for the county.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I suppose, I mean, who knows what the situation will be in the country, obviously, by then. I mean, I know when Limerick won the All Ireland, I think a lot of cars met up and they were beefing at each other, but it's definitely not the same, like, compared with when of course you obviously won it, like a completely different landscape obviously back then. Like, obviously moving on from 2017, I suppose 2018 you came very close, narrowly losing out to Limerick. Obviously, put that huge fight in the closing minutes, and I suppose 2019 was probably a bit of an anomaly in many ways for Galway hurling. Like, obviously losing that game to Dublin, not making it out of Leinster. Like, what do you think kind of went wrong maybe in those kind of years?
Yeah, I think maybe they kind of took their eye off the ball maybe a small bit, and like, well, I was about to say, like, it's when you're winning, like you're up there to be kind of chopped down, like, but you look at Limerick and they're still thriving, and you look at Dublin in the football and they're still thriving, but it's very competitive when you're at the top. There's only one way to go, so it's hard to get there, but it's harder to even kind of stay at the top and stay motivated. And credit to Limerick and Dublin, like John, that really shows signs of a fantastic group of players, management and backroom team. But I think Galway might have just left maybe a bit overconfident, and it happens. Like, you get a bit of self-complacency, and there's nothing like maybe a bad year to kind of get you back, and that's kind of what they did. And they were just short against Limerick, as we mentioned there last year. So I think they just kind of took their eye off the ball, but they did well to regroup last year, and hopefully they can go on again this year and see how far they can get.
And what have you made even of how dominant even Limerick have been over the past couple of years? Like, obviously winning back-to-back Munsters, 2 All-Irelands in 3 years, back-to-back National Leagues. Like, I think odds-on favourites to probably win the league and All-Ireland again this year. I mean, it's been some rise over the past couple of years for them.
It's class, to be honest, and it's great to see as well, because when you look at Limerick 5-10 years ago, you never thought, like, no one could predict it. Like, I remember watching the matches where Mark Foley, Andrew O'Shaughnessy, like, these were kind of, there was a lot of heroes down there, like, a lot of cultural players. So, like, to have this, and they're still cultural players, like, there's no doubt about it, but like, it's great to see, because like Limerick wouldn't have been in the kind of top 5, top 6. You kind of had Kilkenny, Tip, Galway, Cork, like, maybe it kind of slipped away, maybe Clare when they won the All Ireland 2013. So, like, it's great to see that kind of a team from, I wouldn't say nowhere, but we're down the ranks, are up to the top, and like, it's not just a fluke. They're showing back-to-back Munsters, as you said, back-to-back All Irelands. Like, it's fantastic to see. So it's a credit to their backroom team. John Kiley is obviously a fantastic manager. Paul Kinnerk is very good with the coaching and the backroom team. And I think, and I know from John being in Galway, there's nearly more people involved in the backroom than there actually is playing, and even in the squad. Like, there could be 40 to 50 people in the background, between physios, dietitians, psychologists, all that kind of stuff. So it's credit to Limerick, and it's great to see. But obviously, we down here want to see Galway knock them off the perch. But it's great to see a count, because it kind of gives hope to the other counties as well. Like that, it's great to see Antrim winning there, the Joe McDonagh, and hopefully they'll do well in the Leinster this year. And in the league as well. I think they're up to 1B there. So yeah, it gives hope to everyone else, and it's great. Fair play to Limerick, and hopefully hopefully they don't win, but I hope they keep up their good work, and I hope they do.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, look, listen, yous have definitely been the closest anyway, I suppose, to them really over the past couple of years. Like, when you look back at 2018 and obviously last year as well, very close. So it'd certainly be thereabouts. Like, do you reckon it will be maybe another kind of period of domination for Galway, maybe with some of the younger lads coming up? Do you reckon you can catch Limerick at some point, albeit maybe this year or next year?
Yeah, I'm looking there, and I'd like Tipperary now, or there's no real word out of them there as well, and like I was surprised, like the kind of surprise package last year was Waterford. I thought Kilkenny would beat them in the semi final, but Waterford did very well. Like they had a monster. They were 7 points down or 6 points down at half time, and they came back, and like Kilkenny had no answer for them. So yeah, I do think Galway do definitely have. There's another All Ireland in them players, the two Manions. Hopefully, Joe gets another one like David Burke, Conor Cooney, Conor Whelan, Dahi. He's five All Stars there. Garrett McInerney, Adrian Toohey. They're all kind of. And not a lot of them are gone. Let's say they're all kind of. There's another one there, hopefully in them. So Limerick will be awful tough to knock. They look, and they're young, like their average age isn't old as well, like they're young, like they're kind of like Kyle Hayes, I think, is only what, 21, 22. Aaron Glan's like 24, like Keane Lynch is only, I think, 26 or maybe around the, I'm not on the button with them ages now. I don't have the exact stats, but they're in around that age. Like so, I think Galway do have one more. Tipperary, I'd be wary of. They're serious hurlers. They're very skillful and very fast as well. Like even Michael Breen there, John O'Dwyer is so skillful. The Noel McGrath, all them, Paddy Maher there is as solid as a rock there in the back. So they'll be ones I'd be looking out for. Yeah, they'd probably be Limerick, Tip, and Galway would be the ones that I think would have the best chance in this year's championship. I know Waterford did well last year with Liam Cahill. I think everyone will be maybe a bit more aware of how they play and how their style of play, because it would have changed from Derek McGrath the years previous. So or Pádraig Fanning the years previous. So yeah, they'll be to answer your question, I think I do have one more. I just
Yeah. Well, I suppose no one can predict the future, unfortunately. But yeah, I think Tipperary could definitely be thereabouts as well. Like I feel like anytime people write them off, they're usually the ones who come back fighting.